Thank you, Chairman. Thanks for holding this important markup today of policies related to the Congressional Budget Office, or the CBO. We've had Director Swagel in numerous times working on a good faith approach on some of the key important reforms that need to take place. I would also like to thank Congressman and my colleague, Congressman Swazi, for co-leading this effort. Again, this bill, the Increasing Baseline Updates Act, is in today's markup, and I appreciate the chairman for including it. This bill, this Increasing Budget Baseline Updates Act, would require the CBO to produce at least 2 baseline updates per year, including at least 1 update with economic data. Currently, under the Budget Act, CBO is required to publish its baseline before February 15th of each year, but a specific number of baseline updates is not statutorily required. As a result, in recent years, CBO has not published updates to the baseline later in the calendar year. The last time CBO published a baseline update after July was in 2020, and the office has not published 3 baseline updates in a calendar year since 2019. By requiring these 2 additional baseline updates each year, the Increasing Baselines Updates Act will ensure Congress has updated information on the most relevant budget and economic figures to better inform the appropriations process and other legislative proposals we consider later in a given calendar year. The bill also ensures CBO will receive the relevant technical data from the executive branch by February 1st of each year, so CBO can complete the baseline in a timely manner. That point's, I think, important because I agree with the ranking member that a lot of this problem is Congress's fault. We don't get our stuff done on time. Now, right now, we have approximately on the House, 73% of the appropriations bills, of the total amount that needs to be appropriated, done, completed, and off our books. Now, those were largely partisan bills. We get that. That happens when Democrats are in the majority. And then the percentage that the Senate has completed is what's staggering. 0. Senate has not done 1. The fiscal deadline is next week. My point in all this is at least the House is trying. They're trying to do things on a more consistent, sensible timeline. And with that, that's what we're doing with these CBO bills today, is this isn't saying this is CBO's fault that we don't get this stuff done. We're asking CBO to do what they usually had done prior to 2020, get them back to producing more data, more information for us. Director Swagel sat there right there and said, hey, this is something we should be getting back to. Here's some of the reasons why we haven't been doing it the last few years. And so we just want to get it back to what we're doing. They provide the data to us, and we should be able to do our job. That's all we're asking here. We're not shifting blame. This Congress, the House Budget Committee, has been laser focused on sounding the alarm about the threat posed to our nation by the debt and deficit crisis in which we find ourselves. This has been accompanied by good faith efforts to work across the aisle with our Democrat colleagues on reforms to bolster improper payment accountability, improve the budget process, and shore up our long-term fiscal solvency. They're all things that everybody on this committee agrees with. Critical to our efforts to rein in the federal debt and deficit is providing oversight of CBO to ensure this office is providing Congress the most accurate and timely information to inform our legislative efforts. That's what is driving the 6 bills we're considering today's markup. Legislation House Budget Republicans worked on with our Democrat colleagues in CBO for 2 months prior to them being considered here today. I think that might be the part I'm really excited to get this bill, our bill that we introduced, kind of to this point in the process, and I'm hopeful for a positive outcome. But the other legislation that we're doing today too is trying to accomplish the same thing. And I'll just make a quick mention. Like, I've seen my chairman take arrows from my side. He has put himself at risk, somewhat politically, to do so much of this in a collaborative, bipartisan way. The Fiscal Commission Act is our biggest miss this year. We didn't get it be broadly supported enough to get it over the finish line. And groups from the left and groups from the right wanted to take shots at it. And our chairman was willing to stand up and say, look, this is stuff we have to do. And we're doing the same type of stuff in the budget process. And so I really urge my Democratic colleagues to look at the holistic nature of today's bills, not all the other stuff that goes on in Congress. We all want to fix that. We can't. But this is crucial to how we go about being able to do our job better. And I strongly urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support the Increasing Baseline Updates Act and other legislation we're considering today. Put partisanship aside and advance the other common sense policies we're voting on today. Thank you, and I yield back.
I thank the